Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live with me, Chase Lee, and my co-host,
Ryan Sutfield.
That's fucking right. And hey, listen, I realize it's Tuesday. We're 4 days late. My internet shit out. It shit the bed. You know, we had to put it on hold for a little bit. But now the episode is finally here, and we're going to be doing a special director, if you will, on this fantastic episode of Top 5 Saturdays Live. First, before Brian introduces our subject, if you are listening on Spreaker and you want a video version, link will be in the description below. And if you're watching on YouTube and you just want to hear us, link will be in the description below. Either way, I mean, you're going to be hearing our awesome voices, so it doesn't really matter. All right, so if you guys are new to the show, what we do is we take a movie coming out on the weekend, and we will take a look at a director, actor, genre, what have you, and we'll make a top 5 list according to that subject. The cool thing about the show is it's live, so we have no idea what the hell's going to come out of our mouths, and we do not know each other's list. So with that being said, before we get into our subject, Brian, how are you, and how angry are you that we're 4 days late on this episode?
I'm doing fantastic, but yes, I am angry inside that we're 4 days late, but I'm holding it in. It's okay, everybody. No need to be scared. It's okay. No need to run away. It's okay.
It's true. Just because, well, for this week, for this episode, we'll do Top 5 Tuesdays Live. We're going to rock that title this week. But, yeah, you know, it just shit happens, guys. It's life. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about our subject. So, Brian, introduce what we're talking about today.
We are honoring the one and only fantastic writer-director, Mr. Richard Linklater.
For what movie?
Everybody Wants Some.
That is right. All right. So, Everybody Wants Some. I saw it at South by Southwest. I was blown away by it. I absolutely loved it. And Richard Linklater, to me, is just one of those directors that always creates stories that are human and relatable, and they're just, I don't know how to explain it. They're just really human to their core, and they're characters that we can relate to, characters that we know. It's real life scenarios played out in front of you, and it's actually quite shocking that someone can actually nail life as perfect as Richard Linklater. So, Brian, when you think of Richard Linklater, what do you think of? And just give me like a 30-second review of Everybody Wants Some and what you thought of that.
All right, first of all, when I think of Richard Linklater, this guy has pretty much done all the genres possible. He's done comedy, drama, romance. He's done thriller. He's done sports. He's done pretty much everything so far, and it's incredible. Everybody Wants Some. I did see this while I saw it on advanced screen in probably the biggest theater in NYC. Fucking fantastic. Loved it. One of my favorite films of the year. For someone who's going into college in 5 months, it's relatable to me, and it worked so well. Acting great, soundtrack great, whole movie fantastic. Everybody, pun intended, if it's not playing near you right now, you have to go see it the moment it comes out in a theater near you. Like, that's what you have to do. I cannot wait to see this movie again when it comes out near me, and I'm hoping it does soon. I believe it does this weekend, so that will actually be very helpful. Everybody Wants Them. Go see it. But yeah, Richard Linklater, so excited to finally honor him.
Yeah, this is going to be a great episode because all these movies that we're going to recommend on my list, on his list, they're all going to be great. I guarantee it. He's got some interesting ones in his resume. He's got some weird ones, not going to lie. But for the most part, he's got some really good, I would even dare to say classics. He's just that good. So, yeah, without any further ado, let's get this started. Top 5 Richard Linklater movies. Brian Sudfield will start with number 5. So, Brian, let me ask this question to you. What is your number 5 favorite Richard Linklater film of all time?
I'm going with the film that's probably his most overlooked film. I wouldn't think it is, but at the same time I do. Me and Orson Welles is my number 5.
Okay, I never saw that one.
Damn, you are missing out, dude. This is the film that got everyone to go, oh my God, Zac Efron could act. Like, this movie actually showed his true acting chops. Now, listen, I grew up with Zac Efron because High School Musical was something that was a big part of my childhood. So, I mean, that was my first introduction to him. And as I got older, I'm like, okay, could this guy actually do stuff outside the teen, flamboyant type of films? And he did this, and he was incredible here. But the standout was Christian McKay, who played Orson Welles perfectly. I felt like I saw Orson Welles on screen. It's about this boy joined this production of Julius Caesar, which is directed by Orson Welles. And I thought it was something so different for Linklater that it worked so well. But to me, the thing that makes me love this film so much is just the performances. Like I said, Zac Efron's incredible. He is so good in this film. He's charming. He's funny. He's heartwarming. And he actually gives a very good performance, but I still think Neighbors is his best performance, although this one kind of tops it just a little bit. But Christian McKay, like I said, he plays Orson Welles, and he nails it. He sounds like him. He looks like him. He acts like him. It's incredible. And then Claire Danes is there, and she's there for sex appeal. But, I mean, sure, why not? No, but it's a fantastic film, especially for someone who loves the theater like me. I'm a theater fan. Yes, that's a big confession of mine. I like the theater. Deal with it. I'm sorry, people. But it's a great film. Definitely one of Linklater's most overlooked and underappreciated films. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Me and Orson Welles, my number 5.
Yeah, you know what's really funny about what you said about Efron and Neighbors? That is his best performance. And a lot of people will scoff at it and be like, oh, you mean the movie with a bunch of dick and fart jokes? There's more to it, and that's the performance where I was like, Zac Efron, you got some chops on you, buddy. But, I mean, I'm always rooting for Efron. But, yeah, I need to see Me and Orson Welles. I actually remember when that was playing in theaters, when I worked at the theater, never got a chance to see it. I didn't know who Linklater was at the time, even though I saw Dazed and Confused and stuff. I had no idea of his name quite yet, so that is my fault. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting number pick. I'm going to jump into my number 5 because Brian opened with it. I'm doing Everybody Wants Some. Listen, Brian's a young lad, and he has not experienced college yet. Now, I graduated college 4 years ago, and I can tell you this, that Everybody Wants Some. It pretty much captures the essence of going to college and not fitting in and finding who you are and becoming who you are finally in life. Because I'm going to tell you right now, all you people that are still in high school sucks dick, and you will learn way more in college, and you will find yourself, you will fit into groups of people you never thought you would fit into. It's a new experience, and Brian's having a fun time with those Tic Tacs over there. So, Brian, you fucked up my mojo, man. You're just fucking shaking your shit over there. Because like in the movie, like they, it focuses on a freshman joining a baseball team and stuff, and a frat house, if you will, and they go to a bunch of parties, and they're all different types of people, and that is kind of a mirror to when you actually go to college and you try to go to different groups and different clubs and stuff and see what fits for you. And I thought that was an interesting way to do it through partying and stuff. And at the very end of the movie, it's got some poignant things about life and college in general, and it's really just poignant, and just it kind of hits home, like when you've been through that experience. So Everybody Wants Some is number 5, and it's definitely my one of my favorite ones of the year so far until it gets booted out. But you know what? It's April, still early, but it's on there right now. So Brian, would you like to talk about this movie, or would you like to move on?
Love it. Still have the poster I got on the screen, and still got this awesome ticket. I'm never going to throw away this ticket because this was the best advanced screen I've ever been to in my life. So yeah, Everybody Wants Some. You said it all, dude. I mean, it's great. It's relatable. Great soundtrack. Great acting. I was surprised by my boy Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell, Scene Stealer. Watch it for everyone here. All these good-looking people. Most of them good-looking. But no, check this out. Seriously. Like you said, you have to check this out when it comes out. I'm serious, guys. If you Huntsman comes out this week, and if you don't want to go see Huntsman, go see Everybody Wants Some, or go see The Jungle Book again. But yeah, see it ASAP. Thank you.
Yeah, it's and I forgot to mention, it's actually really, really funny. That's the one thing about Linklater is he doesn't rely too heavily on raunchy humor or drug humor or dry humor. It's kind of like a mixture of everything. It's kind of real life humor, and that's what I really appreciate about Linklater's writing. That is for damn sure. So let's move on to number 4. Brian, take it away.
That's all. That's what I like about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age. Dazed and Confused is my number 4.
Okay.
This could be a little higher, but at the same time, my top 3 are, in my opinion, the best films he's ever done. Dazed and Confused takes place in the 70s. Now, for me, with Everybody Wants Some, I think it's on the same level. But part of me still thinks that this one is the better film. Although I can acknowledge there's some things that make Everybody Want Some better than this. But everyone does great. Now, this takes place on the last day of high school. And then, it's about people trying to think, oh, what am I going to do before college? What am I going to do after college? What am I going to do in my life? And it's great. It's a whole party movie. It's honestly incredible. The soundtrack, too, is just endlessly re-listenable. Like, is that even the real word? I don't even know. It's a soundtrack that's just so perfect. The acting is great. It introduced us to Matthew McConaughey and Ben Affleck. Let's not forget about that. And everyone else does a great job, too. The writing, too, is fantastic. The direction is great. I don't know how I can't praise this movie enough. It is a perfect film. It is one of the best films in the 90s. And if you guys have not seen it, check it out. Like, I feel like these few films we're going to be talking about, not a lot of people have seen, but yet maybe they have. Normal people. I'm not talking about specifically the film lovers. I'm talking about the normal people. They need to check out these films. They do. Dazed and Confused is so relatable. It's so funny. It's so heartfelt. I love it. I love it. All right. That's where it came from. And that's where the line came from, this movie. And it wasn't even originally in the script, but McConaughey added it. So, credit to him. Great film. Love Dazed and Confused. Just wish it was a little higher on my list, but I couldn't do that.
And once again, Brian won't know the full effect of Dazed and Confused until after he graduates high school. But I will skip this one. All right. So, my number 4, I'm going to go with a fun one. Now, I think I saw this in theaters. I just had a lot of fun with it. And Brian, calm down your fucking Tic Tacs. Jesus Christ.
They're too much.
There's people fucking watching and listening, and you're just like throwing gravel in your mouth. All right, so I saw this movie in theaters. It was really fun. It was funny. It was endearing. It was cute. And I just think it's a pretty darn good rewatchable movie. That would be School Rock. Jack Black, never thought he would be one of those actors that could pull off that good balance of drama and comedy. You saw him at the beginning of the film. He was kind of a loser. And then at the end of the film, he really cares about these kids and teaching them about the power of music and stuff. And it's just a really fun movie. There's really nothing more I can say about it. And I will say that I think School Rock is probably his most commercial thing that he's ever done, and probably his most rewatchable one. And I would actually say a first timer's watch. So it's kind of like that one movie that goes, you know what? I've never seen a Richard Linklater film. I don't know what he's done. Send them to School Rock, and if they like School Rock, it's like, okay, maybe you can try to like introduce them to more, coming of age or like the romance stuff or whatever. So I'm going to go with School Rock for number 4. Brian, what would you like to say about this one? Would you like to talk about this one, move on, or throw a goddamn Tic Tac in your mouth again?
Pass!
Oh, okay. So it is higher on this boy's list. All right, I'm going to go ahead and mark it down for the folks listening and watching at home. Okay. All right. So let's go to number 3.
My number 3 is probably the film that everyone considers his best, and that's Boyhood.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it hasn't happened in a while, but we have the same number 3. All right, so let's balance this out. Brian and I will talk about this movie. Brian, I'll let you go first.
All right, Boyhood. This was my favorite film in 2014 for a long, long time. 4 months. It was my number 1 for 4 months, and then I saw Whiplash, and I'm like, ooh, sorry, Boyhood. Boyhood's number 2. Then I saw Birdman. Boyhood moved to number 3. Now, I don't get the hate for this movie. I get it. The movie is very, very long. I get it that the story is just a boy growing up. I understand that. But you watch it for how it was made. Being shot over the course of 12 years, that's insane. I remember I never heard this film until it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2014. I remember reading something a few months earlier saying Richard Linklater was going to be debuting the film there. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's cool. And when people were like, when I read reviews for it and it said it was shot, I'm like, wait, what? Then I saw the trailer. I'm like, what? I don't get it. How is this possible? Then I saw the movie and I'm like, how is this possible? This movie is the best film that he's ever done but it's not my favorite one that he's done. I get it that was I rooting for it to win Best Picture? I was rooting for Whiplash or Birdman. I was rooting for those films. I wouldn't have been mad if Boyhood won, but this film should have won Best Director or Best Picture, one of those two. That's how I see it because of the way it was made and everything. But it has a good story to it about this boy growing up, having to deal with a lot of these problems like drug stuff, alcoholism, divorce, moving. I never moved in my life, so I can't relate to that aspect. But this kid, basically, I mean, I'm graduating high school in 2 months, and I'm able to relate to a lot of the stuff that this kid has gone through. Yeah, my parents never got divorced. I can't relate to that, but like this kid played the Game Boy a lot. He watched a lot of the cartoons I watched. He went out with the kind of people that I've gone on with. It's like crazy. Like it's so relatable, and the performances are great. The kid who played Mason did good. Ethan Hawke was great, and Patricia Arquette was awesome. She was fantastic. Like, she was flawless. Her performance was great. People say, oh, it's over the top. She's playing a mother very, very well, and you have to understand where her character is coming from because she deals with a lot of shit in this film, and it's honestly heartbreaking. But Boyhood, incredible. A lot of memorable moments, lots of great inspirational quotes. Love it. Love it. Great film. One of my favorites of 2014. Easily one of my favorites of this decade so far. If you haven't seen Boyhood, give it a shot. If you don't like it because you think it's a kind of too pretentious, then I don't know. But just give it a shot. Check it out to see how it was made. That's the point of checking this film out. Just for that alone.
Good points. Good points. If Nightcrawler, Gone Girl, Whiplash, and Birdman did not come out in the same year, Boyhood would have been my number one. I echo those statements of this is definitely the best directed movie he's ever done in terms of just putting this film together and really going balls to the wall and filming this thing over the course of 12 years. It's an incredible feat that we're probably never going to see again. We might see again, but like, it's either going to be really shitty or we're going to be long gone or dead after that point. But it was nice to see this project that he took care of for 12 years, and all these actors were very committed and coming back and continuing to do this story. I don't understand the hate either. A lot of people hate this because it is just 3 hours of someone growing up. But I will say this, that Boyhood is one of those films that can depict life pretty damn accurately. If an alien race were to come down right now and they pick out a movie to like show what life is like on Earth, I'd probably pick Boyhood. It's like this is what this shit's like. We grow up, we get bullied, we make mistakes and stuff, and our moms get divorced, and we grow up and we start questioning life and stuff. That's pretty much what the human species is all about. But Patricia Arquette gives a really great supporting actress performance. The scene at the end, it kind of hits you because once again, Brian has not seen this yet, but when he graduates high school and he moves on, his parents are going to be crushed, and they're going to be like, holy shit, life is moving too fast type of deal, and it's just what real life is like, man. Now, Brian is right. Now, I grew up in the same house for the majority of my life, so my parents didn't get divorced and move around a lot. But that is a reality for some people, and so people can't really fault Patricia Arquette for getting married like 3 times throughout the movie. A lot of people are just like, oh, that's stupid. She made some stupid decisions. Yeah, but that's called making a mistake, and you move on. Like, and you saw her at the very end, like she hated her fucking life. She was like, wow, I got nothing out of this except for pain and suffering. So, it's written well, it's acted well. Ethan Hawke is boss. Ethan Hawke is always boss, and we'll discuss him later on in the show. But Boyhood is just one of those movies that we'll probably never see again in that type of fashion, where it is filmed for over a decade and constructed into a very coherent and relatable film that can just touch anyone that fucking grew up. So, Boyhood is a spectacular film. But, yeah, if Whiplash didn't come out that year, it'd probably be a little closer to number one. But Whiplash came out, and game over. Whiplash is amazing. If you guys have not seen that, you need to stop what you're doing, pause this, go see Whiplash, congratulate yourself, be scared for about 10 minutes because you think J.K. Simmons is going to burst in your room, and then continue on watching the show. So, Boyhood, number 3. Very interesting pick, Brian. All right, so number 2, Brian, take it away.
My top 2 could go back and forth, but to be quite honest, my number 1 is truly my favorite Richard Linklater film. So my number 2 is Before Sunset, and to me, I would have put the entire trilogy as my number 2, but sadly, we only had to pick one film in the series, because then if we put all 3, then that means we would only have to put 2 non-Before films, and that would not be fair. But then again, we don't know. In my eyes, this is the best of the entire trilogy. I think, well, for me, what makes this the best is the way it was made. Because the entire film is 90 minutes long, and the movie takes place in real time. They don't jump like 12 minutes ahead. They don't jump like an hour ahead. It's all taking place within the course of like each minute. It's like an episode 24, where an episode 24 is an hour long. Each episode takes place within the course of an hour. It's like that. And the thing is with this, like we already saw the greatness on the train and before Sunrise, and then when they go back and meet each other in France, and then they just walk around the entire city just talking. And then the way the film ends, you don't know if they get together or not. But for those who've seen it, they obviously know what happens. And to me, that's why I think it's the best one. I mean, it's not the most mature. That would be Midnight. But this one is just, to me, the best one in terms of, like, filmmaking. That's it to me. And it got an adapted screenplay Oscar nomination. Should have won. Sideways won that year. Sideways is, like, in my top 5 favorite films of all time. So I can't go against Sideways. Although if Sideways did not come out that year, I would have given it to Before Sunset. And, yes, Before Sunset, I just think it's the best one. In my eyes, it is. And the ending, baby, you're going to miss your plane. I know. What happens after that? You'll have to find out before midnight. So, yeah, Before Sunset is my number 2, and I know Chase Inside is like, Brian, I fucking hate you. How can you not put this at number 1, or any of the Before films at number 1?
Oh, you're gonna leave it like that?
That's okay. The end.
Okay, I'm gonna pass on this one.
Obviously.
Okay. Well, it's like your opinion, man. All right, so good pick. Well, at least he put it on his list. All right, so number 2, I'm gonna go with, I think, the very first Linklater movie I ever saw. Dazed and Confused. Let's do it. So, you know what's really funny about this movie is that I actually didn't see it until I was, I think, like a sophomore in college. Yeah, I know, and that was my first one. You gotta keep in mind that I basically like bull rushed all of Richard Linklater's films. Like I started one and like I watched like all of them within like, you know, a few years. So, yeah, I actually didn't see it until after high school. But as I was watching it, I was realizing, holy shit, these kids in the movie are exactly how me and my friends were after we graduated high school, and we had those 2 solid months before we all split and went on our ways and stuff. And it's like what Brian said, like the acting just feels natural, it feels authentic. It doesn't even feel like actors. It feels like Linklater went to a random high school and he plucked some kids out of a classroom, like, you're gonna be in front of this camera. No? Oh, you don't want to? Go fuck yourself. You're gonna be in front of the camera. So yeah, the acting is natural. It feels organic. It feels like you're watching a slice of life. What Dazed and Confused and Everybody Wants Some are, they're like philosophical party movies. It's pretty amazing that you can actually get some thought-provoking questions about life and you know, teenage psychology through parties and just hanging out with your friends. But when you hang out with your friends, even with at my age and or when we're in high school and college, we would talk about life. We would be like, where are we going to be at in 10 years? Like, what are we supposed to do with our lives? Like, I didn't see my life going in this direction. It's kind of fucking crazy and shit. So we've all been there. We've all asked those questions, and that's what Linklater does for this movie. And Matthew McConaughey was discovered. I still love that story every time they tell it at a festival or just online. I'll always watch the video of just one of the producers of Dazed and Confused went into a bar and he started talking to McConaughey, and the producer said that they needed someone to play this role. So he went in there, audition, and he got the part, and here we are now. And now he's in. He's one of the biggest stars of today, and he's one of the best. But yeah, it's just great characters, great lines. Memorable lines. I mean, that all right line has been going ever since that movie came out. Like, it's fucking crazy. It never dies. Like, that is always going to be a part of McConaughey and his personality. But everyone can relate to Dazed and Confused. It was really funny because when I was watching the Richard Linklater documentary, Dazed and Confused bombed in the box office. It didn't become bigger until it was like a cult hit on home video and stuff. And it totally makes sense because when they were talking about it, they were like, the marketing team had no idea how to market it. So you'll see it on like the DVD cover and like the poster. It would just have like the stoned smiley face, and that would be it. So it made it look like a stoner movie. Yeah, there are kids smoking weed in the movie, but there's more to it than just that. So, a lot of people might look at that poster and go, oh, God, it looks like a Cheech and Chong ripoff or something. So that's why it bombed, is because the marketing was terrible. They didn't know how to fucking market it. But I'm glad it found its place on home video and really just kind of flourished there and stuff. And it is definitely one of Linklater's classics. That is for damn sure. I'm actually more curious as to what the hell is Brian's number one. He already put probably the most cult classic one of Linklater, one of the most technically achieving ones in Boyhood, an underrated one in Me and Orson Welles, and his romantic masterpiece Before Sunset. Brian, Sudfield, what in the holy fuck is your number one favorite Richard Linklater film of all time?
School of Rock.
Why the fuck is that so high?
I'll tell you why this film... I saw this film when it first came out. I was 5 years old. This was the very first Linklater film I ever saw. And this film, I would rewatch it all the time when I was younger, and I still rewatch it a lot to this day. Now, I've told you this numerous times. I'm a massive rock music fan, so anything with rock music in it kind of gets me pumped and stuff. That's why I love most of his films, because he has like the best soundtracks put in films. It's honestly like gold. Like, his taste in music is like genius. And to me, what makes this film, like you said, it's probably his most rewatchable film, and it's also his most fun film. It's probably his funniest film. I don't know if it is. I would have to think about that. And it showed that Jack Black could actually really act. Although he later did Bernie with him, which is actually a very overlooked film as well. And Jack Black was incredible in that film. Although the voice he did in that movie was pretty funny if you've seen the film. To me, School of Rock, it's just these kids who go to this big boarding school and then learn all this stupid shit. And then Jack Black comes in as this sub and just teaches them music and the values of life through music. It's perfect. It's a perfect premise. And you would think, oh, it might not work well, but it actually did work very well because of Jack Black's charm and performance. This performance is incredible. Dewey Finn is a great character, and no one could have played this role like Jack Black, in my eyes. All the kids are great. The supporting actors, Joan Cusack as the principal, Mike White as his roommate, who wrote the script, which is incredible. I think this is the only movie that Linklater has directed where he wasn't a contributor to the script, which I think is very interesting because I think you could tell that it's not his writing, but you could, because the thing is, when I got older, I didn't think he would direct something like this, and when I found out that he did, I'm like, what? There's no way Richard Linklater directed this, and lo and behold, he did a film like this. I wanted to do more films like this. I wanted to do more mainstream films. I know he likes doing his fair share of indie films, and that's great, but do something a little more commercial. do something like that. And I think that I think it's an underrated film. I mean, a lot of people my age love this film, but to be quite honest, when you think of Linklater, you don't really think of this movie. You think of like the before films and Boyhood and like Days Confused. Not a lot of people talk about School of Rock, maybe because they didn't realize that he directed it. And hey, I mean, that's not really a good thing or a bad thing, but I mean, when a director does something different from his shtick, it's something perfect. And that's why I love School of Rock so much. It's such a special film to me. Like I said, it's the first Linklater film I ever saw, so it's something really special to me. That's why I love it. I really love School of Rock. I need to see the musical. I hate that there's a TV show on Nickelodeon. That just ruins everything. I know Linklater's the producer behind it. I know he said that he kind of approved of this show, but to be quite honest, this show should not continue. Nickelodeon, fuck you for this. Fuck you. You guys suck. But School of Rock is my personal favorite Richard Linklater film. Like I said, it's not his best. But to me, it's my favorite one. And I can understand where people might be shocked by that, but we all have our opinions. That's the beautiful thing about film. We all have our opinions. It's like saying like, oh, I love this film that everybody hates, or I hate this film that everybody loves. Like, it's like that. That's the beautiness of film. So that's why School of Rock is my number one.
And I can't argue against you because I do like School of Rock. However, Brian, let me school you in some knowledge. All right, so for all you guys out there that don't really know me, I'm a sap. I like me some romantic shit. I do. One of my favorite films of all time, I'll spit them out to you. You know, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or Mulholland Drive, or you know, the Before trilogy, which Linklater has contributed to. Now, Brian and I's rule for this episode was we only could choose one Before movie if we do so to put it on our list. No shocker, I like romance movies. One of the Before movies is my number one. I could have gone with Before Sunrise and make it, you know, to put the first one on there and you know, say because it was the first one, it started the trilogy. I could put the second one because it furthered the story along and told in real time. Or I could do the third one and be like, that's a hell of a way to kind of end this journey, whether it be depressing or not. So my number one favorite Richard Linklater film is, I agree with Brian, it's Before Sunset. Now, the reason why I went with this one is because I could have gone with Sunrise. Sunrise was a pleasant surprise. It was fresh. It was exciting. It was like Quentin Tarantino dialogue in a romantic setting with two people walking in the city. That's all it fucking was, but you felt that connection. You felt the chemistry between Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and that is what is so just lovely about these movies, is that you can feel that passion there, and they're just talking most of the time. It's incredible. The second one is told in real time. We pick up right where not pick up right after, but like, you know, 9 years later type of deal. But we pick up where these characters are at in their lives, and we kind of just see it go from there. And then the third one, let's just say that they're, you know, more in tune with each other. And I'm not going to tell you the ending, but, you know, make of it what you will. But I chose the second one because we go 9 years later, and so we see that Ethan Hawke's character has written a book. He is in Brian. What city is it? Is it Italy?
Paris.
Paris. Okay, so Ethan Hawke is in Paris selling his book. Julie Delpy comes into the bookstore, and then they start talking. They just start talking about life, and they go, "Hey, what have you been up to for 9 years?" "Hey, I've been doing this. What have you been up to?" And so the whole time they're just talking about what happened on the train that day, and, you know, what's going on in their lives, and we're just kind of catching up with these characters as if we were friends with them 9 years ago, and we're catching up with them, going, "Hey, what have you guys been up to? What's been going on?" So the second one is a little bit more deeper in their characters and in their arcs, because yes, at the very beginning of the movie, they're just kind of catching up. But as we go further into the day, through the hour and a half, we start to kind of see the pain that they each went through, because they still had that burning love for each other, but they just didn't really do anything about it. And now they're starting to realize that they may have made a mistake type of deal, and they're getting really pissed with each other and stuff. And it's frustrating as a viewer because you're like, you guys could have had it. You guys could have had the ultimate romance 9 years ago, but you done fucked up, and now you need to, save this type of deal. And it was just kind of really depressing to watch. And think about these movies, the before movies, if you've never seen them, Linklater does like a lot of one-take shots, and it'll just be Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy in front of the camera just fucking talking. Just talking. It is 99.9% talking. I think the only action that was in Before Sunrise is when the train went away. When the train left the station, that was the only like action in the movie. Other than that, it was all talking. And it kind of reminded me of like an old romance film from like the golden age of Hollywood, like in the 40s or 50s or whatever. It had that classic type of feel, and I loved it. But then the second one, they just advanced their characters even more, and you could see the pain of them moving on, and one of them being married and having a kid, and they're just like, oh my God, like what do I do? And it's like what Brian said at the very end, are you you're gonna miss your plane type of deal, and it's like it leaves on a cliffhanger. This is the type, it's like a romantic TV show, and it's like this was the second episode, it leaves on a cliffhanger, and you had to wait 9 years to catch up with these characters again to see where the hell they were at. But from the cinematography and how dreamlike it is with that kind of steady cam following these characters in real time, and it kind of adds to like that dreamlike element that these two characters share with their love, and just the acting and the writing, and just feels so natural and authentic, and the chemistry there. It is an amazing film. It is an amazing trilogy. I will say this again. I know you guys are sick and tired of hearing me say this. It is one of the best romance storylines ever made. It just is. It's a great trilogy. I actually binge watched all three in one night. The best thing that Adam Bilbrey ever gave me was the Before movies, and he let me watch them. Never seen them before, never heard of them. I watched all three in one night. I was tired as shit the next day at work. I still remember, I'm just like, man, that was a great night, but I'm tired as balls. I'm going to go sleep under my desk. So Before Sunset, great film. But hey, I actually would like to recommend all of them, but the second one is my personal pick. And besides one freaking movie, Brian and I almost had a flush this week. A good old straight flush, and I'm a little disappointed. We almost had that. But yeah, that is our top five guys of Richard Linklater. But he's made some other ones. So I'm going to start first with some honorable mentions, some movies that barely just made the list. I'm going to go with Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, and Bad News Bears. I actually like Bad News Bears. It's funny, it's cute, it's charming, and it's foul-mouthed and dirty. What more can you ask for? Yeah, I still remember the coolest story I have is, let's see, I think it came out when I was 16, so I was well over 13 years old because it was PG-13. But when I got into the box office, there was a sign on the door that said, "Parents be warned, Bad News Bears is nonstop language. It will." It didn't say it'll mess your kid up, but it was just be cautious. And I was like, Jesus, what is this, a snuff film or something? So I really like Bad News Bears quite a bit, actually. Yeah, and that and I saw Scanner Darkly, but I can't really put it in there just because I don't remember it that well. So those would be my picks for honorable mentions. So Brian, what about you? What are some that just didn't make your list?
Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, I'm gonna give it a shout out to Bernie, Scaring Darkly. Everybody wants them. I've seen every single film of his except for one. It's Impossible to Learn How to Plow by reading books or something. That's the only Linklater film I haven't seen, and most of the ones that I didn't mention just now are okay. And we have two dishonorable mentions, but they're not bad films. They're just bleh. And my worst one is just my least favorite one, or a film that I think is bad personally.
Let's jump into that. I don't have any dishonorable mentions because I've literally mentioned every single film that he's done. Believe it or not, guys, even though he's been making films since the 90s, if you look at his resume, he hasn't really made that much compared to someone in the business for that long. So, yeah, he hasn't really made too many movies. But, Brian, what are some of the ones that just you don't want to ever fucking see again?
Well, Bad News Bears, the thing is, I was 7 when that came out. I remember seeing that with my dad and my uncle. And I fell asleep during it on my dad's lap. I felt like I was drunk that night, to be quite honest. I don't know. I don't remember. And then I watched it again, I think like 5 years ago. It's okay. It's not bad. I think for me as a baseball fan, I don't think it's as great. And by the way, Richard Linklater is an avid baseball fan. I just want to let you guys know that. Like, he's a huge baseball fan. That's kind of why I think he incorporated baseball into Everybody Wants Some. I just think Billy Bob Thornton's character in this movie reminds me a lot of his character from Bad Santa, just a little more toned down. That's just how I see it. And Fast Food Nation, boring. And Fast Food Nation is a convoluted mess. Every director has their weak film, and I think Fast Food Nation is definitely the most surreal, the weirdest one. But my worst is a film that I think is very high, well received on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think one of Chase's longtime pals on Reel Me In loves the crap out of this film. And I'm sorry to the person that does, but Waking Life is my personal worst Richard Linklater film. I understand where someone could love this film. For me,
Whoa, wait, who's the one that likes it? Is it Jackson?
I think I don't know.
I'm trying to think of like who's mentioned that they liked Waking Life.
I remember seeing him posting someone on Facebook about it in some film discussion group and how much he loved it. I remember, I think it was him. But regardless of who it was, I just never really cared for this film. Yes, it's an animated film that's definitely somewhat different. I love the animation in it, but the story to me just drags. It's all over the place. I don't know why I don't like it. I want to. I tried to watch it again, and I just wasn't into it, Sally. I'm upset that I wasn't into it. But, I mean, everyone has those films that is so critically acclaimed, and people can't get into them. I can't really think of any others. I'm sure Chase could think of one. Maybe not a Linklater film, but I'm sure he could think of a film that was, like, so critically acclaimed, and then he started watching. He was like, not my thing. But Waking Life, in my opinion, is the most convoluted thing that Richard Linklater has ever done. Like, I mean, yes, I just brought that up with Fast Food Nation, but I just think the Waking Life is just, it's so messed up. It feels like a drug trip of a film. It just hurts my head. And I wish it was just better, slightly better. It could have been much better, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. That's it.
Yeah, I never saw Waking Life. I might have seen Fast Food Nation, but I don't remember it. So that is saying a lot right there. So, yeah, I want to check out Waking Life, and I definitely want to revisit Scanner Darkly because I saw it when I was in high school, and I didn't understand anything because I was a stupid teenager. But I'm not saying teenagers are dumb. Some of them are. But I was dumb, and I didn't really appreciate film like I do now, so that's what I was saying. But, like, yeah, those type of movies are ridiculously hard to make in terms of painting each scene and stuff. It's fucking crazy. I don't know how you could spend time to do that as a filmmaker, but to each his own, man. To each his own. So
I can't believe you never saw Bernie. You never saw Bernie?
Bernie was playing in the theater when I was working at the theater, and I didn't catch it.
I think it's on Netflix if you have any interest in watching it. I think it's Linklater's only film on Netflix right now.
I'll check it out because I hear it's kind of like got the tone of like a dark comedy, which I'm always.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, so I'm always a fan. So that will do it for this week's episode, guys, of Richard Linklater film. So the question to you is, before we jump into what's going to happen later this week, what is your favorite Richard Linklater film, or what is your least favorite? Do you think he sucks, or do you think he's awesome? You know, let's have a conversation. Comment that place up on my face and let me know. Brian, we aren't going to be discussing what's next week because it's like 5 days from now. So what are we discussing on our actual Saturday episode this week?
On our actual Saturday episode, in honor of the Huntsman Winter's War, we are not honoring my babe, Jessica Chastain, Sally. We are honoring Charlize Theron. This is, for me, this is going to be another one of those kind of BS episodes. I love Charlize Theron, but I haven't seen as many of her films, so I'll have to BS for this episode. But I mean, I'm excited to honor her. We don't really honor a lot of actresses, so it's cool that we're honoring another one.
I'm going to try my best in the middle of the Dallas International Film Festival to try to see Monster, because I've never seen it before, and that's the one where she won the big gold for. So, yeah, so I'll try to see that. But, yeah, Charlize Theron, she's just one of those actresses to where whenever she's in a movie, I usually like her in it, and sometimes I don't like the movie she's, like, in. Kind of like with Dark Places. It's Gillian Flynn's adapted novel, kind of like her adapted follow-up to Gone Girl. Charlize Theron was great in the movie, but no, it wasn't like a terrible. It was like a blah, like Lifetime thriller type of movie. So no matter what she's in, she always brings her A game, and she's just she's a gorgeous, talented actress, and she will be very fun to talk about in a few days from now, because we're recording this episode on Tuesday, and Saturday is 5 days from now. So, yeah, so that is what's going to happen next week on Top 5 Saturdays Live. So, with that being said, guys, if you, like I said, if you want to have an audio-only version of this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, link in the description below. If you're listening on Spreaker and you want a video version, link will be in the description below for that. So, Brian, do you have any other closing words before we wrap this thing up?
No, I'm good. Linklater, everyone, please go see Everybody Wants Some. Please, just please. I can't beg you enough. Like, there are a lot of indie films out right now to go see. This and Saint Street. Everyone, go see those two films. If you don't see Saint Street or Everybody Wants Some, you guys are assholes. But definitely check out both of these films. And like I said, if nothing is playing near you this weekend, you don't want to go see The Huntsman, Kill Yourself War, just go see The Jungle Book again. The end. If you want to follow me, and I know Chase is like, Brian, where can people find you? Well, you can follow me on Twitter at BrianSuts98 and on YouTube at Brian Sutfield. There you go.
Well, damn, Brian just took a hold of that portion. So, yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter right here, it's at RealChaseLee. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on Spreaker, all that jazz. This is the definitive Top 5 show on the internet. So we'll see you guys later on this week for Charlize Theron. So with that being said, let's play the outro music done by my friends band Fervent Roze. They are in Dallas. Check them out. The link in the description is below. I'm Chase Lee.
I'm Brian Sutfield.
That is fucking right. And we'll see you guys later this week for Charlize Theron. Mad Max Fury Road will definitely be on there in some way, shape, or form. See you guys later this week. Bye-bye. Oh, Richard Linklater. He is from Austin, Texas, motherfuckers. He's representing my state. See you guys later.